Most people don't lose because they tried and failed. They lose because they never sustained the effort long enough for life to respond. Life is fair, but it is not fast. It observes, it tests, it measures who you are when no one is watching. You are not rewarded for what you understand. You are rewarded for what you practice daily. And here is a hard truth. Motivation starts, but discipline finishes. When you act only when you feel like it, you become a prisoner of your mood. When you act because you decided, you build character. Character is what sustains success when enthusiasm disappears. Everyone wants prosperity, but few want the silent process that creates it. Waking up earlier, studying when no one sees, persisting when there is no applause, continuing when there are no immediate results. This is where most people quit, and this is exactly where the few separate themselves from the crowd. Life does not respond to desire, it responds to identity. When you become disciplined, organized, consistent, responsible, life begins to align. Opportunities arise, the right people appear, doors open, not by chance, but by coherence. You don't attract what you want, you attract who you have become. So decide today, no longer negotiate with your own laziness. Stop outsourcing responsibility. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Do what is necessary. Do what is difficult. Do what is right. And do it every day, because when you change, everything changes. There comes a decisive moment in every human life, not when everything is going well, but when nothing seems to respond. That is when most people interpret silence as failure. But silence is not rejection. It is preparation. Life is asking, will you continue even without guarantees? Will you act without applause? Do you trust the process or only fast results? Discipline is staying when the reward has not yet appeared. Great results are built in invisible phases. No one sees the training, no one sees the studying, no one sees the accumulated effort, but everyone sees the final result and calls it luck. Luck is not accident. Luck is accumulated consistency. Every day you do what needs to be done. Even without desire, you deposit something into life's bank. At first, the balance seems like zero, but there comes a point when interest begins to work. And when that happens, life responds quickly. The problem is that many quit one step before the turning point. They stop when they are about to become someone different. They stop when character is being formed. They stop when identity is almost solid. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is future freedom, freedom to choose, freedom to say no, freedom to live without fear of the next bill, the next crisis, the next opinion. Every lack of discipline today turns into pain tomorrow, and every discipline embraced today turns into strength tomorrow. Life always charges a price. The question is, do you prefer to pay now with effort or later with regret? Those who win understood this early. Those who win do not wait for motivation. They act from commitment to who they decided to become. And that decision does not need to be announced. It needs to be lived. There comes a point when you understand no one is coming to save you, and this is not despair, it is liberation. When you stop waiting for rescue, you take control. Life does not change when you complain better. It changes when you position yourself better. It is not the world that must adjust to you. It is you who must rise to the level of life you want to sustain. Because prosperity requires structure, and structure requires discipline. Dreams without habits are just well-intentioned fantasies. What you do when you are tired defines who you are when you are strong. What you do when no one sees defines what life will show you later. There will be days when everything in you wants to stop. Those days are not obstacles, they are invitations to maturity. Maturity is doing what is right without emotion, without recognition, without immediate pleasure. Most people live seeking comfort. The few live building capacity, and those who build capacity do not depend on luck, circumstances, or approval. Life begins to respect those who respect themselves. It begins to respond to those who keep their word, especially the word given to themselves. Every broken promise weakens your identity. Every kept promise strengthens your spirit. Discipline is identity in action. It is not about occasional intensity. It is about non-negotiable consistency. A little every day beats a lot once in a while. And when you sustain this standard, something changes inside you. You stop asking permission. You stop explaining yourself. You stop comparing yourself. You simply do. And life follows those who do. And then there comes the moment when you look in the mirror and understand. It was not lack of ability. It was not lack of opportunity. It was lack of sustained decision. You realize the problem was never outside. It was always in how willing you were to remain. Remain when it hurts. Remain when it is exhausting. Remain when nothing happens. This is the breaking point. Here, two people are born. The one who returns to the old pattern and the one who decides never to return again. There is no middle ground here, because life is watching who you choose to be when quitting would be understandable. This is where identity changes, not with shouting, not with emotional promises, but with a silent and irreversible decision. I don't stop anymore. Not because it became easy, but because you became greater. At that moment, something reorganizes inside you. You stop fighting the process and start walking with it. You accept the price. And those who accept the price receive the privilege of strength, of clarity, of inner authority. From here on, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You know who you are becoming, and when you know, life feels it. It feels it in your tone, in your posture, in your consistency. That is why, after this point, results begin to appear almost naturally, not as a miracle, but as consequence. Because the world always responds to those who have finally taken command of their own life. Silence, breathe, and decide. So take this with you. Life is not against you. It is training you. Every delay, every difficulty, every day that feels like nothing changed is life asking if you are ready to sustain what you asked for. Do not rush to complain. Go deeper into becoming. The world does not bend to those who ask for more. It opens to those who become more. Discipline is not rigidity. It is self-respect in action. It is respect for the future you say you want to live. When you honor your daily commitments, even small ones, you send a clear message to the universe. I am ready. And life responds to that. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it always responds. Continue when no one applauds. Continue when they doubt you. Continue when the silence feels heavy, because that silence is not empty. It is gestation, and everything great is born this way. Silent, disciplined, irreversible. Do what needs to be done every single day, and let life do the rest. Understand this. Life does not test you to break you. It tests you to reveal you. Pressure doesn't create character. Pressure exposes it. When things are easy, everyone looks disciplined. When things are hard, truth shows up. This is where excuses die and responsibility is born. Because at some point you stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to build in me? And that question changes everything. You realize that every delay trained patience, every setback trained resilience, every lonely season trained independence. Nothing was wasted. You were being shaped for a level of life that demands strength. Most people pray for a better life, but refuse the process that produces it. They want confidence without discipline, results without sacrifice, growth without discomfort. But life doesn't work that way. Everything valuable has a cost, and everything meaningful demands preparation. The moment you stop running from discomfort, discomfort stops controlling you. The moment you embrace responsibility, power returns to your hands. Because responsibility is not a burden, it is authority. The disciplined person is dangerous, not to others, but to limitation. They don't panic under pressure. They don't collapse in uncertainty. They don't beg for validation. They move forward, quietly, relentlessly, with intention. And over time, life begins to make room for them, not out of mercy, out of respect, because life respects those who respect themselves enough to stay consistent when quitting would be easier. So if you feel tired, good. It means you are in the process. If you feel stretched, good. It means you are expanding. If you feel alone, good. It means you are learning how strong you really are. Do not rush the process. Do not insult the work. Do not abandon the discipline. You are closer than you think. And one day, without announcement, without noise, without warning, you will look back and realize you didn't just build success, you built yourself. And that is the kind of victory no one can ever take from you. There is a moment when effort stops feeling heavy and starts feeling necessary. Not because the work changed, but because you did. You stop asking how long it will take. You stop counting days. You stop negotiating standards. You understand that this is not a phase. This is who you are now. At that level, discipline is no longer something you force. It is something you protect. You protect your mornings. You protect your focus. You protect your energy. You protect your word. Because you finally understand the cost of distraction. Every wasted hour was a silent theft. Every broken routine delayed the future you wanted. And now, you don't hate yourself for that. You learned from it. Growth begins when guilt ends and responsibility takes its place. You don't need to punish the past. You need to outgrow it. There will still be resistance. There will still be days when progress feels invisible. But now you know the difference between delay and denial. Delay means keep going. Denial means change direction. Most people quit during delay, thinking it's denial. The disciplined few recognize the signal and stay. They stay when doubt whispers. They stay when results lag behind effort. They stay when comfort calls them back. And that staying rewires the mind. Consistency builds trust, not with others first, but with yourself. And self-trust is power. When you trust yourself, you don't need motivation. You don't need approval. You don't need permission. You move, calm, grounded, certain. Life responds to certainty, not loud certainty, not emotional certainty, but earned certainty. The kind built through repetition, through kept promises, through quiet discipline. And one day, you notice something subtle. You are no longer chasing confidence. Confidence is following you. You are no longer seeking control. Control is natural. You are no longer trying to become strong. You are strong. Not because life got easier, but because you stopped being fragile. That is the real transformation, not a new life, a new foundation. And from a solid foundation, anything is possible. At some point, you stop measuring progress by emotion and start measuring it by alignment. You ask yourself one simple question at the end of the day: did I live according to my standards? Not, did I feel good? Not, was it easy? But, was I true to what I said I would do? That question alone eliminates confusion, because clarity is born from standards, not from circumstances. When standards are clear, decisions are simple, not easy, simple. You no longer debate with impulses. You don't bargain with comfort. You don't justify weakness. You act in alignment. And alignment creates momentum. Momentum doesn't come from speed. It comes from direction. Many people move fast in the wrong direction and call it effort. The disciplined move steadily in the right direction and call it life. There will be moments when no one understands your pace, when your silence is misunderstood, when your absence is questioned. Let it be. You are not withdrawing from life. You are building capacity for it. Capacity to carry responsibility, capacity to handle pressure, capacity to sustain success without losing yourself. Because success without discipline is a short-lived event. Success with discipline is a lifestyle. That is why true growth is quiet. No announcements, no validation posts, no need for explanation. Results speak later, and when they do, they speak clearly. Not of luck, not of shortcuts, but of patience, of endurance, of integrity. So if today feels ordinary, good. Ordinary days build extraordinary lives. If today feels repetitive, good. Repetition builds mastery. If today feels unseen, good. The unseen always precedes the undeniable. Stay with it, stay aligned, stay disciplined, because the life you are building will eventually require the person you are becoming. And when that day comes, you will be ready, not lucky, ready.